Um, Almost 2 weeks ago, we bought a truck camper to our truck, and it was a surprise. Mihai went to give the check to the previous owner, and she gave me this gift. It's the best gift ever. So she got from a farmer here in Newfoundland. He was using the fiber for compost, and she got it. It doesn't look too dirty. I don't know. I haven't gone through a lot. And it's a long wool because you can see it's long staple, and it's not too crimpy. There are some parts that I can see are very crimpy. I think it's a Romany. She doesn't know for sure, but Romanys are big sheeps, and I would think there are at least 2 fleece here, but I don't know. So I'm gonna see what we have in here. This is my open up unboxing or unplasticking. And plastic is not the best place to store your fiber anyway. So yeah, I thought there was going to be 2, and there are 2. So it's a fairly big sheep. So let me put this on the side, and I'll try to open this one. I was in a spinning course, and we were talking, and I was saying that I need to buy 100 fleeces to know how to do this. So I'm not quite sure how this thing is, how it was packed, because some cases you just unroll, but I'm not quite sure how this was packed, because they do not sell the fleece, so maybe it's in a different way. Yeah, definitely. So this is not going to be easy for me to identify. My thoughts was that if I could open the fleece, I could identify, because the side of the sheep is the best part of the fleece. But here I won't know. And there are some shortcuts. But if you see, there's not much vegetable matter. So this is pretty good, not having a lot of vegetable matter. Oh gosh, this is nice. Sorry. So normally the worst part is the back, but look at this, some very nice locks in here. It's just that I'm not able to recognize the shape of the sheep in here. But I guess what I will do is I'll separate by flock. Mihai gave me one box, because the idea, if you're not going to wash your fleece immediately, the idea is for you to be sure that you have no air coming through, because the air is going to make it unworkable in a few years. And also because it's not washed, it's going to attract the moss. So if you have something like this that is going to be hermetically closed, then wow, then you're gonna save it. And I'm looking here, I have to wash a sample to see how it's going to be, because this is so beautiful, and it has some luster, I can see. So that's another characteristics of long wool. But I could separate by staple side and then see it. And there are some parts that the staple is smaller, but look at the crimp of this. Isn't this nice? Yeah, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So I guess my initial idea will not work. So maybe I will separate by staple and try to see the parts. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And I am on my spinning phase, and I still have another fleece to wash. So look at this. This is so beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. This is probably the back of the sheep, and you can see it's because the way it is separating and stuff is the part that is weaker of the fiber. But even though, let me just see. It has a little break in this part. Not really. Just maybe the lock was too big. It's coming out, it's separating the lock, but it's not breaking. So it's a good fleece. It's a very good fleece. Will probably be great for socks. Separate. And sometimes no breaks. Sometimes you have to look in different parts of the fleece. So like when I'm processing, I should separate by staple, because you see this is very small compared to this one that is very big. Look at the difference in size. And if you spin this together, you most probably are going to get pills, because it's not going to blend perfectly. So this is good. So I guess what I'm going to do is just, I don't know, maybe just put it back on the, not on the plastic, but on those boxes to see when I'm ready, or maybe just separate a little bit, like of this long ones, just so that I can work on a little bit of this fleece. I don't know. But all I wanted to do is the unpacking with you guys. I'm going to roll up the other one, because I don't see a lot of vegetable matter in all this fleece. This is pretty good. Pretty good. It's very, yeah, no breaks. It's a good fiber, and it's two big sheep, so that's why I think it is Romany, but it could be something else. It's not the softest. It doesn't have that much grease. It has grease, but it's not that much compared to merino or other stuff. And really, really, really nice. I have a dead fly here. Some dirty ones. They didn't skirt the fleece, but that's understandable because they don't use the fleece. But look at this. Not a lot of vegetable matter in it. Some parts that I will just throw out, like these parts, that is probably the bottom part of the sheep where he poos. But look at this lock. It's so beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Kelly, if you are watching. Thank you for giving me this gift. I needed it. This makes me happy, and I was needing array of fiber. Okay guys, so bye. More than one sheep fleece here, but sometimes in the same sheep you might have breaks in different areas. So in some areas it's going to be perfect, in some areas it's not going to be perfect. So I couldn't resist, and I was sort of separating by staple, and then I got one, and as you can see here, this broke in the middle. And I believe the reason, so if I do this, it breaks in the middle. So this is no good. I'm not going to keep it. But, so this can happen in different parts of the sheep. And I have more than one sheep here, definitely. The other thing is, and I think that's the reason why it's breaking. You see how the fleece is yellow? So this is a bacteria that eats the fleece. And it's not harmful to you, not harmful to the sheep, it's just harmful to the wool. And what happens is if you wash it, it will kill it. So you should wash the fleece as soon as possible to avoid this bacteria from growing. And the wool, the only effect that it will have is that the wool will, if you just have the yellow but it's not breaking, the wool will not be white, so it's not going to dye in one color only because it has the yellow effect there. So you can see this is no good. This is a small staple, so I'm throwing it out. You could do. The other thing is I'm touching the fiber, and some of them are a little bit wet, and this is because it was in a plastic with air coming through, so there is some condensation. So if you want to avoid it, do not leave your fleece in a plastic, make holes in your plastic. The thing is, if you make holes or if you don't leave it completely closed, then moss might come in, mainly if they are not washed. So that's pretty much it that I wanted to mention. I think I will end up, I'm putting away most of it, but I'm separating some by the large staple that I can see and that are easily separated by staple like this. Like it's a little bit fuzzy, but that's okay. So then I'll put them in the laundry bags to wash. But it's very beautiful. I'm very grateful. But I wanted just to add those two items. So if you see, this is the same, I don't know if this is the same shape, but because I mixed everything out, but the fiber is perfectly good. And the interesting thing is, like, if you get some of this fiber, that I will definitely cut this part off after I wash and just use the fiber. It's very silky here. Look at the shine of this fiber. It's so shiny. But look at the difference in crimp. This one has a lot more crimp than this one, but it's going to be beautiful for some shawl, silky shawl, or something that you want to make with a drape. So I'm very glad. My hands are very full of lanolin, and my daughter used to say when she was a teenager that my hands were so soft. And at that time I was more into working with fleece, so that was a side effect of working with fleece, soft hands. I totally recommend. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.